Hey guys, welcome back. It's premiere time. I'm going to try and be quick with the introduction here, quick with the recap, and quick with everything because this is going to be a long one. We got first up, we're going to watch the news. Second off, we're going to take a look at some of the characters, what they're up to from the fake first edition base Pokemon case. So be prepared for a long one there. Lots of reading, lots of checking things out, lots of laughs, hopefully. And yeah, so apparently the news today is going to be a special edition where Rattel is, I guess, making fun of smaller channels. So that should be very interesting. All right, weekly recap here. We got the special delivery Charizard. Guys, don't worry about special delivery Charizard. They're still sending codes out. I think everyone's going to get one that signed up. PTCGL rework. So there's been an announcement, some details on what's going on, what the changes are going to be on PTCGL. Seems like they are for the best, but it could be a very long time before there's an actual release. We got the old beta strat. Very interesting. We got more issues with the eBay authenticity guarantee. That whole thing is just an absolute mess, and I think it's a waste of money. And people are really going to find out and be upset once they start charging for it, because they will. If it costs them money, they are going to charge you even more than that. If it wasn't something that they could make money off of, then they wouldn't be doing it. All right, what else we got here? What else we got? We got Liquid Marketplace pretends to acquire a consignment company. It's just one of the guys that was submitting cards and hanging out with them. It's like a sub 1,000 positive feedback eBay account that they're calling a consignment business or company. It's just a dude that's selling cards. They're going to charge you up to 20% to sell your cards on eBay, which you can do yourself. Suggest you do. If you need help with that, join the Discord, and myself or somebody else will give you some pro tips. Save yourself some grief. And then we got a very interesting Omegle opening. And then last but not least, not shown on screen because it is not uploaded at the time of recording, but we have a very interesting square cut stolen celebrations Charizard. Got all the details on that, so check that out as well. The Rattle shirts, limited time. As always, the merch is like a one and done. Not saying you won't see something similar in the future, but for the time being, you got to place your orders, rattlepokemon.com to place the order. There's a few outstanding payments on PayPal. No pressure to do so, but if you want one, you got to get it done this weekend because the order is going to be placed on Monday morning. So without further ado, let's check out the news. Channel 69. Hey guys, welcome back to the news. It is me, your Channel 69 host, Rattel. And I almost forgot the mustache. Perfect. All right, as I was saying, it is me, your Channel 69 host, Rattel. The network has informed me that we will be doing a special episode this week. They want to see more of the small PokeTubers, and apparently weren't having my idea to call it the Punching Down Edition, but we're going to do it anyway. That's what we're calling it. Yes, I am going to be picking on everyone, and yes, here is the disclaimer. You guys know the drill. I'm going to poke fun and tell jokes. If you don't like that, you can suck me harder than a Bellsprout 69. I mean, viewer discretion is advised. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, I'm noticing a trend here where it is incredibly difficult to find some of these people on other platforms. If your YouTube name is gballer69, why is your Instagram blazemummy420? Why? Just make them match. For the love of God. You'd have to be a detective even to find some of them. Pro tip, while we're at it, when you hit 100 subs, you can make a custom YouTube URL, which also makes it easier to find you. Alright, so before we get started here, I'm going to include everyone's links in the description. Just wait a minute. Don't blindly subscribe to all of them with no intention of ever watching. That doesn't help. Sub for sub and stuff like that is a complete waste of time. Do check them out, but make sure it's content you would like to watch. So what's the catch here, Ratel? What is it? Well, I want to invite everyone featured in this episode to make something really cool and original before the end of the month. Once you do, post it in the Discord channel named Punchdown Bonus Round. I'll make a follow-up where we check all of them out, maybe in a live stream of sorts. If you aren't featured in this video but wish that you were, post in the Punch Me Please channel. That's also on the Discord. Join the Discord. And we can do more of these if it's something that people really enjoy. First up, we have PokeBronx718 NYC, who has 350 subs. Pretty sure this man comments on videos more than 350 times per day. I'm going to need you to channel that energy into the bonus round. I'll see you there. PokéDad Sam. One day we will probably find out what's in this blue bubble mailer. As a bonus, it might become vintage at that point. First opening video, and could it be the last? We'll have to keep an eye on this channel to find out. Great Smoky Poky doesn't seem to realize that you can upload private streams and or videos in order to test things. That and that the next best option in this case where you can hide or remove them. Kodak Courage put out a video where they organize bulk, but the more I look at it, it looks an awful lot like the majority of Rattle Pokemon's collection. I am far from an expert in this, but the ending soon screen might not be the best thumbnail choice. A variety of content on your channel probably isn't a bad thing, but not sure a rant about the Nevada State Boxing Commission has anything to do with or much overlap with Pokemon fans. Are all the Poketubers slowly turning into Fortnite players? Noticing a little bit of a trend here. Sobble, no videos in 5 months. You're slacking a little bit here, and oh no, the futsal Pika in a PSA 10. My condolences. What are you doing here, Talysa? Are you posting only hits so that Rattle Pokemon's openings always look extra bad? I guess this marker job does the trick, but if you ever want some lessons, I know a guy. Not sure if this is clickbait or aspirations, but no, definitely not. You cannot open modern Pokemon cards and complete the set from just opening packs. It's not going to happen. Keep dreaming. Is this the budget version of the SM Pratt Grandma basement setup? There's no way this isn't intentional, right? This man opens more product than 99.9% of the Pokemon community and only has 2 opening videos. Splash one on there every now and then. He's not making videos, but I'd just like to acknowledge Flores Java for the creation of the very beautiful and current RattlePokemon.com website. Look at that thing. What an absolute piece of art. Absolutely beautiful. Good job. If anyone would like to thank him for this, make sure you add him in the Discord. Flores Java, thank you for the blessing that is RattlePokemon.com. It's time for Graded Cards of the Week. Woo! Alright, first up we have an Arcanine that is marked as being from Skyridge, which is weird because that is definitely the Arcanine from Aquapolis. I mean, I can totally understand that. As an expert, you definitely could get those two mixed up. The set symbols are not very iconic. You wouldn't notice that. Especially quality assurance, no problem. It's fine. We're gonna ignore it. Next, this one's a little bit different, a little bit special. These are not trading cards. This is these are manga style comics. The issue with these and the placement error that's going on here in the description is because they put them in backwards. So all you folks that are like, oh, just give a CGC a chance, they've been great in comics, well, they suck at those too. Thanks to Zach Horner for sending me those. Do you know how upset I am that this is titled Oh My God What a Pull? That I watched it just to find out it was an amazing rare Reshiram. Drew, are you really using a plastic bag as a playmat in this one? You know what they say, it's not a real cult unless they have Kool-Aid, and unfortunately EpicTube HD has already had some Kool-Aid. Metazoo Kool-Aid. What am I looking at here? Did you run out of space when trying to include the logo from every set in Sword and Shield, along with all the big box stores? ArticJC can't believe he's opening product on clearance, but I can because those dog boxes were everywhere. No one wanted them. It was a sad sight. Nothing quite says I'm burnt out or bored of Pokemon like a randomly inserted sports opening. Wait a minute, did you scavenge the playmat out of the Radiant Eevee box you're using as the background? I guess it's all-in-one Pokemon recording set. Can anyone tell me what the TheKantoCouple are holding right now? What? Can't say I've seen it before, so I'm guessing this grading company was maybe a little late to the party of everyone starting a grading company. I'm gonna need you to change your name to something like Poké Adult Trainer. Kids aren't allowed to get tattoos, let alone a full sleeve. Speaking of tattoos, be careful with those, or you might end up on whatnot. You might need to get the duster out. I actually thought this was Adam's pack opening setup for a second there. Woo! It's time for Open Mouth Thumbnail of the Week. Before we get started, I'd like to give an honorable mention to Feller Chris, but he has been disqualified. No, not for photoshopping his mouth open, but for pointing out the fact that Rattle's avatar has an open mouth as well. That's a no-no. Alright, number 1, we have Derek and the Dragonites. Product, yeah, you read that right. His mouth was so sore from holding it open that he can no longer pronounce ours. Number 2, we have Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Suck it. Short 1 Charizard, Hidden Fates tin for a thumbnail symmetry that's out of this world. Just jam your face between them. Perfection. Number 3, we have Poke and Fun. Opening his mouth the full length of a parking space, believe it or not. And last but not least, number 4, we have Gem Mint Pokemonster. Is this supposed to be like some kind of joke? Like a 1 in the pink and I'm guessing 2 in the stink? Make sure to vote in the poll, live chat, and the comments. Those options once again. Number 1, Derek and the Dragonites. Number 2, Mount Kilimanjaro. Number 3, Poke and Fun. Or number 4, Gem Mint Pokemonster. I see what you did there on the left. It's a real shame not very many people did. You have all the blue backgrounds, but it seems you forgot the clouds. Tell me you'd rather be opening Dragon Ball Super without telling me you'd rather be opening Dragon Ball Super. Can someone please send Amieon-Go a playmat? It's not quite there when you can tell a cart channel turned into a Pokemon channel. Also loving the unnecessarily blurred license plate. I'd love to see how worn out Alice's Control C and V keys are with the amount of link promotion she does. If you want to put insane pulls here, fine. Insane pull rates? No. Pull rates are all the same. They're the same in every Pogo pack. The rate is the same. The chances are the same. Can anyone tell me what I'm looking at here? Did you try to remove the binder page between the cards? Wow, how do you even pronounce this? And why do they even let you put emojis in your name? Can people search it if they remember enough of it? All right, let's give it a try. We got EoU AnriSparceKurokaze, double eyeballs. If Eddie sleeps with someone, is it automatically incest? Since he calls everyone cuz? Speaking of cousins, here's one. And no, I'm not implying they should hook up. I don't think I've ever seen someone advertise the Japanese set name in Japanese on a very English thumbnail and live stream. Just a heads up, the weebs who pretend to be able to read Japanese, they're all bluffing. I didn't think a hat could look more like it came from GameStop than Rattle Pokemon's old one. And here I thought PokeSurge was the only old man who says sheesh. There's no way it's easier to Photoshop each figure into your hand rather than posing with it and putting yourself on the background. Even if it's the same amount of work, at least you won't be stuck in the same pose all the time. But you know what? I'm going to give you a pass though, because you have a bunch of Chrono Cross gameplay videos. That's it for the news. You guys have a good one. Go watch some Rattle Pokemon or something. Hey guys, are you ready for some updates? It's that time again. It's update time. Slightly Logan fake case related. We got BBCE here. We looked last time at the fake case, almost certainly a fake case of, or fake box rather, of 86, 87 Fleer basketball cards. Seems to be a trend. It seems like the person, Baseball Card Exchange Steve, who is authenticating this stuff, can't actually authenticate stuff. Who would have guessed? So to start off here, we're going to talk about another somewhat separate problem here. Whatnot was the ones, or the company breaking the box with some influencers, and they're a little bit of an issue on their own. I think their lack of transparency doesn't help the bad reputation that they have. I feel for the honest sellers that are on Whatnot, because there are a lot of bad ones, there are a lot of shady ones, and Whatnot seems to run defense for them. So it's just an all-around bad situation. If you do work with Whatnot, I suggest you maybe put a little bit of pressure on them to be more transparent, because we can ask them all day for information on this box break, and a whole lot of nothing coming out of it, because they'll just leave you on red. That's the same thing they did to Card Porn. The request for the VOD, which they have VODs of all of their content. You would think something as big as an 86, 87 Fleer event that they're hosting, giveaway, pack break, whatever, you would think that would be big enough that they would want to post that on social media in its entirety, because why not? It's free views, it's free advertising, but they haven't, and they're not going to release the footage because they're run a defense. I guess they want to protect Steve from BBCE. I don't know why exactly they feel the need to do so. Who knows? Who knows exactly here? It seems like maybe anyone and everyone that is in the BBCE corner might have a little bit of vested interest in the form of boxes with the stupid baseball player wrap slopped all over it. That might be the case. I don't know why anyone at this point, without being deceptive, would put any value on that wrap being on any of these products. It blows my mind. So why do we want the footage? Well, right now it has to be pieced together, and Sports Card Radio was able to do so. The Frankenstein box that we looked at last time is composed of different packs. So Steve from BBCE is saying that this is like a one-off exception. It's a unicorn box of packs that are super special. For some reason, they ended up in reverse alphabetical order, which is not even close to what the sequence is supposed to be. They're supposed to come out in a certain order in groups of 66, and they don't. They were reversed. It was almost like someone had a collection and had it in alphabetical order and then was just slapping them down, and then they ended up being in reverse alphabetical order when they were put in the repacks. But yeah, so what we wanted to know was how many of the packs were the wrong oopsie doopsie reverse alphabetical order, aka probably definitely repacked, and how many are actual packs. So here's the breakdown, with or without Whatnot's help, because they can eat a fat one. They suck. They're proving time and time again that they suck, and you shouldn't trust them. You shouldn't trust people on the platform. Sorry, anyone that's caught up in that, that's trustworthy and doing honest business on there. But your comrades and your Whatnot daddy, they suck. They absolutely suck. So here we have 29. Here's the breakdown from Sports Card Radio. Once again, check him out. Put a link into the description to the stuff that we're looking at here. Card porn as well, making a difference in the sports card world. But this is just going to prove that time and time again, you can't trust people that say they're going to 100% authenticate anything, especially when they're just doing it for money. And yes, that's the idea, that's a business. But when you have somebody that's going to take something they know nothing about, the fake Pokemon case, and slap a wrap on it for cash and or motorcycles, this is what you end up with. You end up with people holding on to worthless or modified stuff for years and years. The price goes up. There's no guarantee. They don't want to pay out on it. They're gonna put their name on the wrap, and they're gonna charge you a bunch of money for it. But there's no guarantee. You can't even get. I guess you don't even get your money back from the actual authentication process, which is pretty wild to me. That's what is the point, you might ask. There's none. You should not, absolutely not, be buying something just because it has a baseball player wrap on it, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's sports. And a lot of people, again, want to just push the blame. They'll be like, oh, but it's okay, he knows what he's doing with sports cards. He definitely just wouldn't take a bunch of money and slap a wrap on something. Looks like that happened here. So 29 packs are the what Steve is calling unicorn packs. Those are the reverse alphabetical order. Never been seen before, but this is the unicorn anomaly that he's going to tell us is the thing. A lot of times too, we saw this with the Pokemon case as well. People like to say like, oh, back in those days they just used whatever they had and whatever did whatever. Don't worry about that. It was sure, it looks like it was repacked, but no, that was just because in the factory that day someone sorted the cards in reverse alphabetical order and put them in the packs instead of the normal sorting process. Like the way that the sheets are printed and the track printing, it's going to end up being in the same order. Sure, you're going to see anomalies, but no, someone didn't sit there on their lunch break, take all the cards and put them in reverse alphabetical order. Like you'd have to go out of your way to make that happen. It's not it's not something. It's not an anomaly. It's not an oopsie doopsie. Oh, they fell on the ground, so I picked them up. And they're in reverse alphabetical order. God damn, that is wild. So we got 5 normal packs and 2 packs that BBCE added. So now we don't know which those 2 packs are. It's crazy how we went from the beginning where everything was disclosed to Steve telling the owner of the box, Triple Double, that he didn't really have to disclose anything, just that it was a non-tampered box. But yeah, that's what we have here. So now we have an absolute mess. We have Whatnot running cover for it. We got 36 packs. Which packs did BBC add? It'd be interesting if the packs the BBC added were two of the unicorn packs, since it's a one-time occurrence. The odds of that being repacked in there, who friggin' knows? But the thing is, at the same time, when he authenticated the box, he also said that one was popped open and the other one was tampered. He never told us how it was tampered, but you would think at that point, when you have one tampered pack in the box should be written off. You can't trust the box anymore because maybe you only noticed one tampered pack. The other ones, I guess the other 29 slipped by, and now you're just not going to own up to it because you're just going to claim anomaly every time something's repacked. I mean, it's hard to do when the contents are G.I. Joes. I guess that could have been a factory error as well. The puffy boxes, the puffy case, the wrong stop tape, the wrong label, the wrong stamp code on the box, on the case. All of it is that those are unicorn anomalies as well. Not buying it. So we got the statement. I think there was another one since then. So we'll have to take a look at that later. But here's the initial statement. Basically, here's him making up some crap saying that it could have happened. So most importantly, we have, in my opinion, this box has not been tampered with nor been resealed. I always knew this would happen someday. So, like, is he talking about the box here? The box was never sealed until you sealed it. I always knew this would happen someday. I figured that someday someone would open a box that was just crazy off. What do you mean happen someday? This has happened multiple times. Not just with the Pokemon case, we're going to look at some others. People would view it as counterfeit / resealed / tampered with. However, as we have just seen, these things can and will happen, and it will happen again. So earlier on, he goes on about how, like, oh, they weren't worth very much, so they didn't, quality control wasn't there. They definitely sorted the cards out in reverse alphabetical order. So another great example that someone sent me. Thanks for that. We have a little oopsie doopsie here. So this 1979 Topps baseball card box here, you'll notice all of these have a BBCE wrap on them. So, like, oh, I could imagine this might happen someday. How about, like, here's some examples. We got this one down here. We got the 72 baseball cards. They were soggy. So you're saying that you looked through this box, you didn't notice the fact that we had water damage. How? You wrapped it. Was it just that no one was ever going to open it? You know, it has the baseball players on there forever until somebody opens it. They're not just gonna, like, forget. So we got soggy box, which I guess that if it's authentic and soggy, then I guess as long as he has a laminated piece of paper that says that they're soggy, and then no one has to disclose it after that point. Make sure you always get your laminated piece of paper with your BBCE items. They have all the details that are hidden. So the 79 box here, we had nothing but sheet C, or the common cards. So we had all the inexpensive cards in this one. Definitely not another occurrence of resealed, though. That we're gonna blame the factory for that as well. I mean, how many times can you blame the factory? I don't know exactly, but it seems to be the case. So what happened there was a replacement box that was, I guess the cost was split with BBCE. So the replacement was fine, but the prior box was not fine. So instead of refunding the box that you got here, Steve decided he would just give you a discount on the next box. So I don't know how many boxes you need to get from BBCE jabs, but not a good track record here. Just with a quick search here with the 1979 Topps. But yeah, you sports guys, if you want to keep buying into this, and then by all means, this has got to be terrifying if you're not doing a box break, by the way. Because at least if you buy it from somewhere reputable, you're probably getting a refund from whoever you purchased it from, which sucks for them. But if this is something that you're holding on to, can you imagine? And it just keeps going up in value, and then all of a sudden, oopsie doopsie, it's soggy, it's water damage, or oopsie doopsie, it's probably repacked. Your choice. Let's take a look at some recent occurrences on Blowout. So you guys remember Jameel, one of the original J-Boys, Jameely Pops. He's here. He's back. He's still been ignoring everyone that mentions anything about the fake case. I haven't heard back from him. If you guys remember, he lost his absolute mind at me in the Instagram DMs before blocking me. He said the case was real. It since turned out that it wasn't very real. So he's still floating around. He's still sports carding. And I think it's pretty fair to say that the folks on Blowout aren't a fan of scammers. Oh, surprise, surprise. So let's see what happens when Mealypops all of a sudden shows up before the National to advertise, to self-promote on the website and pretend that nothing happened. We're going to take a little read through here. We'll see how far we get into it. It looks like there are quite a few pages. So here we go. We have Mr. Mealypops saying, "Blowout family, I am looking forward to seeing everyone this year at the biggest sports card family reunion on the planet. Life has been wild these past years with running the shop, which unfortunately has taken a lot of my time away from Blowout Forum." Okay, sure. But now you have time when you need to advertise. "Our booth is right next to Tops and Fanatics. Content. If you know anything about our brand, we try to carry just about everything. We will have cards in cases priced at 1 to 100K. Loose wax boxes from all sports and non-sports, 25 to 30 sports hobby cases, Pokemon cards, Marvel cards, Star Wars cards, and much, much more." I'm surprised G.I. Joe wasn't on the list there. "I'm releasing a wild YouTube video that will highlight an amazing collection we were a part of in April." Hopefully it wasn't a sealed collection. "Make sure to check the Card Shop show on YouTube this week before the National." I wonder what kind of incriminating stuff is in that one. So for the record, I really, really believe that all of the original J boys, the triple J's, the original J's, they must have known that it was fake. I think they did entirely. I think that's why our boy Jamil here acted irrationally. And yes, he did pay the money back. But he knew that he was going to have to pay the money back if it got opened. I think that's why he was so upset with me, and that's why he lost his mind. And now he's just hoping, I guess, that everyone will forget about it. But I don't think that's how the world works. You don't just try to rip somebody off, try to scam, and then just because you give the money back, you get a pass. I don't think that's how it works. "We will have our team of crazy personalities at the booth, many of which you all have gotten to know over the years, all of them with their own unique cases and sell and trade out of. One is Joey, who has been super active on BO this past year, ID JM984649. Oh no, Joey. Your popularity on Blowout might have just gone down a little bit. "Looking to buy large collections and lots at the event? Please come check us out. Let's make some deals. We buy all sports cards, non-sports cards, Pokemon cards, Marvel cards, Star Wars cards, wax sealed video games, prefer graded, CGC graded comics. Let's make some deals happen. Hope to speak with each of you, but I know how chaotic our buying area is. BO has been," what a terrible abbreviation, "has been a huge contributor to our growth and success, and we don't forget that. Enjoy the Nationals, folks. Signed, Jamil." I will do my best to do a recap of the National this year after the event. Well, isn't that lovely? I get people sending me stuff all the time where he's like doing live streams and stuff like that, and he just really wants to ignore it. I don't know why he won't just make a statement on it. If he had nothing to do with it, if he got duped, maybe just say that you got duped. At least use that as an explanation rather than just trying to hope that it just goes away. It's not going to go away. Oh, here we go. Swerve saying G.I. Joe as well. Jamar says only took 13 minutes. Slackers. Knowing the brand is half the battle. You should be embarrassed to show up on Blowout. I agree, Superman Brandon. Looking forward to meeting you all. Completely wrong and informed. And informed? But that's the internet. Happy to chat with you in person, not behind keyboards. Great community on Blowout with amazing people. Looking forward to this event as many are. And then he's like, now he's posting the Instagram posts. So I don't know how you're going to say that people are completely wrong and what is probably supposed to be uninformed. but you don't offer any explanation. You're making YouTube videos about other stuff. You would think you would just, clear the air, make some sort of statement. I don't know. You just walk around the question a little bit here. We gotta love it. Tortuga Sky says, will you ever apologize to Rattle? He has, he's not. I don't think he's unblocked me yet. Maybe someday. If he'd like to, we can not talk behind keyboards like we did initially. And if he would like to actually chat with me, I'd be happy to hear his full side of the story. I have a suspicion that he's just going to be like, oh, we all got duped for real. I don't see a possibility, a realm in existence, or some even remote chance that Jacob didn't know. Jamil, I'll give you like a 1% chance he didn't know, but there's a pretty good chance he knew. Regular P says that this dirty rat really popped up. He sure did. The power of advertising, right? Metz and Weezer, one of their workers at their booth was very rude to me at National last year. I would, was it Mealy Pops? Happy to address this. DM sent. And now he's in, I guess he'll talk to people about somebody being rude to them, but Majestic 101. Okay, welcome to the forums. Carl 2001. Mealy Pops apologized and returned the money. You guys are taking this out of line. No, that's not how it works. Yeah, there was no explanation. Just because you return the money, if you stab somebody but you donate blood to them, does that not count as stabbing? Maybe that's maybe not a great comparison, but Toll Rob says, what's the tea? This took an odd turn. Thanks, Majestic. Have been using Blowout for about 9 years now. Have made a lot of friends over the years. Dude, I should have looked up when his last post was. He's full of crap. He's advertising. Celtics have dealt with the Mealy Pops team for the past 10 or so nationals, and they're all great people with awesome selection. I'll definitely be stopping by again tomorrow. So, like, that's the thing. It's just like, do you trust a snake, even though it's biting other people, but it was nice to you? Spoiler alert, anyone that's trying to sell you something, aka a card shop boothy and McToothy, he's going to be nice to you because he wants you to buy his shit. That's how it works. Just because the waitress at the restaurant is nice to you doesn't mean she wants to get in your pants. She's getting paid to be nice to you. That's customer service. Mealy Pops apologize and return the money. You guys are taking this out of line. MC1, immediately without any threats of lawyers. Good point. There was definitely threats of lawyers. The money was going to get back there anyway. The thing is, I don't think Mealy Pops is in a position to start dumping money and not have the money to pay it back, where he would have to basically toss his business out in order to do so. All right, we have Mets fans saying, where have you been? Just search YouTube. I honestly don't know how you didn't hear about it. Like, even my wife, who knows nothing about cards, questioned me about it. I'm completely shocked. Assuming you meant uninformed, would you care to inform us and restore your rep here, or at least post a link to how that situation was resolved? Assuming you meant uninformed, not wearing a uniform. We got the boy, I feel like a horse's patoot meme. And the follow-up. Looking forward to an amazing day. 1! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. See you there. Although I don't know you and never met you, from an outsider's point of view who is familiar with the story, it appears that you are taking a page out of a politician's handbook by avoiding the tough questions. In my honest opinion, if it were me, I would provide a brief synopsis of what went down for the people to better understand. Yeah, you would think so. Especially if you have nothing to worry about. If you weren't part of it, you didn't have anything to do with the initial scammer whammer, and you got duped yourself, you would think that you would clarify all that stuff. But when you don't, it looks bad. It looks kind of bad. Charismatic 44th. Nah, not a fan of this guy at all. Came up to their booth once, won't go back there again. Jamil didn't even give me 2 minutes of his day to look at recent comps and gave me a disgustingly low price for a great card. Definitely a shady figure that seems to stay popular for some reason. Really not a fan of this guy. Camden. The Logan Paul Pokemon buy for 4.5 million, all fake. Is that correct? 3.5 million. He's not going to answer that. Swerve, first time he shows up on the website since that I know of, and only to hustle your dollar bills. Good call. Good eye. Boston Nut, call me stupid and uninformed. Uninformed and ununiformed, and not hip and jive and not with the times, but can someone link up a guy with the deets? I did my research and asked my wife, and she doesn't know either. Everyone ask your wives. Have you seen the fake case? Jeremy Nick, this would be fair. You were deeply involved in a huge hobby scandal involving millions of dollars. You went radio silent here. It's one thing to just not post here again. It's another thing to come back here and promote your company. If you're going to do so, it's probably fair to ask you to provide answers to the questions. Otherwise, it's a bad look. Entirely agree. I'm kind of surprised that that I feel like would probably be grounds for a ban, in my opinion, but this is pretty funny, so I can't blame them for letting it happen. We have Chezball or Cheeseball, depending on how you want to pronounce it. His partner in the deal still owes Shine over $1 million. Not sure of the exact amount. Rattle does a deep dive into the whole situation. We have the link here from French Quarter. We have a laughy face from Boston Nut. Oh man, what a poop show. We had a Gin and Juice saying, unfortunate for sure, but based on the info in the video, doesn't seem like anything untoward by Mealy Pops. Not sure why there is vitriol directed towards Jamil. Video acknowledged that he escrowed his share of sale and was cooperative as all involved tried to find a resolution. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think that was like a get me out of jail free card, like the here, I'll pay my money back. You're still a rat, even though you unratted yourself by handing the money over rather than making it go to legal matters. The threat was still there. You were still gonna have to pay it back. So MRB 842. Everyone makes mistakes. Move on. Like no, this is not everyone makes mistakes. It's not like I ripped somebody off, or like I did something like shady, I sold somebody something for too much money. This is just like a straight up scam. This is a scammer. He's gonna scam you every single day. All right. Jamar says 100% true, but the fact that he's been radio silent since the event in question and then shows up a couple days before the biggest show of the year, highly questionable in my eyes, but that's just my opinion, which I'm allowed to have. Had he come back at any other time and said, hey, I effed up, can't really go into in detail, but I own my part, I think a good portion of people would be cool with him. He used to be on a blowout regularly, started getting a little too big for his britches, and forgot the little people, my opinion, and now he's back acting like nothing happened. It's an easy pass for me in person or at my keyboard, informed, uninformed, in uniform, or totally naked. Here's an in-depth look at how everything went down. His eBay thing has 18,000 sold, 100% rating. He sets up shows around the country. Other highly respected dealers worked with him, as do other companies. Maybe you should be questioning those other dealers and other companies. The 100% rating on eBay is, we've looked at scammers on the channel here that always have a 100% rating because they refund. They get caught scamming. They say, oopsie doopsie, I didn't realize it was a fake card. I didn't realize it was resealed. I didn't realize, here's your money back. And then people don't leave negative feedback. A smart scammer is not going to have negative feedback on eBay. Not saying that he's scamming on eBay, but that's not a reason to trust somebody. People miss on deals, sometimes with people that aren't in the right mindset. So, I mean, sure, right mindset. Scammer's a scammer. He set up at the shows, took responsibility. I don't know what else you would expect from anyone else. He didn't take responsibility. He didn't make any statement on it. He's just trying to ignore and let it pass. Alan Ginter, 99. Got any super rare AG Alan Ginter cards? Chessball, show me where he took responsibility, because it certainly wasn't on Blowout. Radio silent, it's in his Instagram. It's not in his Instagram. On here, if you're gonna come on here before the biggest show of the year, call us your Blowout fam, friends, and pimp your biz, you should be able to explain the bad things too. If we are so uninformed, inform us. Again, it's just my 2 pennies. That makes a lot of sense. Mac302, I'm not defending the guy, but did anyone think he can't speak on it for legal reasons? I'm sure there are lawyers involved with this, and I'm sure they have told him to speak to no one until it is settled. I would imagine that at some point you can probably get your lawyer to approve some sort of message, whether it's written or spoken, so that you can clear your name and that you can continue running your business without everyone thinking that you're a scam 69er. Because unless you're a scam 69er, there's got to be some sort of a statement or thing that you can put out that clears that up. Asian 6150. Just because someone has done 100 good things doesn't mean they will always do the right thing. Very true. And just because someone has done one wrong thing, it doesn't mean they will always do the wrong thing either. No, they won't. But if someone's going to wrong people within the hobby that you're in, I'm not going to do transactions with that person ever. I don't care if it's been 10 years since they ripped a bunch of people off. I'm not going to Micah Birch and buying Pokemon cards. I would just avoid it at all costs. Why would you want to do that? The odds have got to be much higher that you're going to get scammed. Not to mention that there are lots of honest people within all of these hobbies that you can support instead. If you did something wrong, you can still issue a sincere apology with or without lawyers. You don't always have to do everything your lawyer says, although I'm sure in many cases it is helpful. They work for you, not the other way around. Sometimes people just conveniently hide behind the "my attorney said not to do this." If you mess up, own it and take responsibility. This includes whatever consequences result. If you do it with humility and sincere remorse, it's hard for people to keep throwing stones at you. I think that's pretty fair. Chessball, let's not forget the $500,000 offer to Rattle to take the videos down. Mealy's partner in the deal made the offer. One has to ponder if his partner was going to eat all of it. It's in episode 4 of Rattle's saga of the G.I. Joe packs. That's true. And also at that time, I feel like if you got duped by the other 2 J Masters, by Justin and Jacob, this is the time where you gotta turn on them. You gotta do the right thing, not ignore it forever. You gotta turn and do the honest thing and help resolve the situation, rather than fighting with me because you were probably in on it. Bob Ross, I'm sure this turned out exactly how Uncle G.I. Joe immediately expected it to. You would think so, but I don't know. The J boys, they're pretty dumb. Had a good time dealing with them last year at the National and made a deal on this bad boy with them. Only one in the entire room. He's coming with me this year, hoping to make some deals. So, yeah, you notice anyone that's doing business with people is going to S their D. Mealy Pop says, great meeting up with so many of you today. The show was quite busy, more than I expected. Was busy all day and made some great deals and great buys. If anyone wants to talk at the booth, come on by. On to Thursday. I don't know if anyone actually wants to talk to you at the booth. Will you give an explanation if someone asks you at the booth? Be interesting. I'm going to assume it didn't happen because no one sent me anything. And I'm going to assume that you would just ignore somebody if they did. GrizzKid12, if you ever need to make a career move, I think you would have quite the future in politics. I think that's pretty reasonable to assume. That is a great card. On to Thursday. Nothing to see here. Enough said. Jeremy Nick, since Mealy isn't willing to engage anyone in meaningful discussion here about his involvement in the multi-million-dollar hobby scam, I think we can go one of two ways with this. One, discuss all of our thoughts about Mealy Pop's involvement in the multi-millions-dollar Poké scam. Two, encourage others at the National to talk with Mealy Pops at his booth about his Incline NT. Recordings would be a plus. Let's give the man what he wants. Great blowout fan, love, and keep the Mealy Pops name active. Jezball, I'm shocked he had the card kahunas to post here. Old Goldie 97, a salesman was nice to me, so I like him and he's good. Doesn't that sum it up for some people? I think it pretty much does. Swerve, had the case not been opened, I pulled off the great heist. Bummer, heist was foiled. Look at me though, I paid back all the funds. I even said so on Instagram, so I'm still a good person. Come on, blowout family, come spend your money with me. Remember, I am a good person and you're my family. Amazes me how some get a long leash while others get the death knell over a few dollars. Shinner what? Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the G.I. Joe fault lie with BBCE? No, it doesn't. You don't get a free pass if you pass something by BBCE. Otherwise, every scammer in the world gets a free pass. Some of the fault does, yes, but they were probably all in on it together. There is no possible way that Steve didn't know this was fake. I don't believe it. I don't believe that all of them, from Justin assembled the box. We have Jacob and Jamil who brought it to BBCE. The videos, none of it lines up. They're in this super rush to get it authenticated by BBCE. They're there on a Sunday night. It's like 30 minutes to authenticate the thing. They all know, they must all know it's bullshit. Almost certainly all know it's bullshit. If I buy an authenticated sealed box/case and later learn it's BS, a box/case, I would go directly after the authentication company. I guess, but that's the thing. That you shouldn't be trusting BBC anyway. They're a joke, and man, I don't know. Who does the fault lie on? It's like a pass the buck situation where a scammer goes to BBCE. BBCE is probably also scamming and just taking money to put wrap on it to make it more authentic. The whole situation, every handoff was just the whole time pressing for no one to open it because it's the only one. And then maybe years and years from now, they don't have to take responsibility for it. But they brought it right there. They're all in on it. They're all responsible. So you believe BBCE should be on the hook to pay back millions of dollars? No, I never stated anything about paying money back. I said the fault in the transaction lies with BBCE. No, it doesn't. Not if everyone knew prior to that it was fake, and they almost certainly did. If that authentication was accurate and correct, the transaction is completely flawless, but they messed it up. If I had lost millions of dollars due to the error, then I try to recoup my money from them, whether that is through their insurance company or through a lawsuit. Well, that's the thing. No one wants to take the blame for it, including BBCE, and if that's the case, you're not getting your money back if you're just going after BBCE. So maybe he'll let you ride his motorcycle. Who knows? Swerve, I really hate to sound like I am supporting BBCE in this case, but they did not facilitate the transaction, so the millions come from the perpetuator of the offense. MC1, sure, Mealy and Kahuna should sue them. Yeah, they could if they weren't in on it. They're not going to sue BBCE because guess what? They brought the fake case to BBCE and then they sold it. It wasn't supposed to be open. Shaner 1, yes, they should. If they have not already, they're not going to. Jezball, I suggest you watch Rattle's videos on the case and how everything transpired. Stretch Armstrong says Mealy Poops. Great. You have to agree to their terms and conditions on your submission form. If you don't agree to not hold them liable, they just won't authenticate your stuff. They shed liability over and over again with these terms. You can sue if you want, but all Steve has to do is show your signed consent on the form, and it's game over. The max they will pay out is the return of their grading fees, which cap out at 5K. So, yeah, I think that is reasonable. The return on the, I don't know, can you, the motorcycle wouldn't be worth as much, though, if that happened. Cousin Drethro, with Mealy there, you know it's gonna be hype. Asian 62150. In my opinion, it's a case where Mealy and BBCE cut corners, made deals, looked the other way because their desire to make money was greater than their desire to do things the right way. I think it might have been even a little bit more malicious than that, but that's that probably sums up the best look for them. Packmeyer says, well, no wonder the terms are onerous. How do they guarantee something that can't be guaranteed? Yeah, that's the thing too. We had Jacob, who is a pathological liar, who was saying things like the fact that he had a contract from BBCE saying that they wouldn't cover it in full. Just not going to happen. Even if you got him 10 motorcycles, he's not going to be able to pay $3.5 million. It's a baseball card shop that it's not this crazy multi-billion-dollar business or anything like that. Shaner, watch the video. Definitely good info. Just my thoughts. If BBCE says that case is not authentic, there are no further transactions, it's fake, then Mealy Pops and Kahuna are left holding the bag. Then they pursue the D-bag that sold them the fake case to try and recoup their money. They haven't pursued the D-bag that sold them the fake case because they were probably in on it with the D-bag that sold them the fake case. There's a reason why we heard of Chang going after the two J-boys, but that the J-boys don't want to go after the other J-boy who created the case. The guy that spilled beer on his cards and ruined them. A pitcher of beer, nonetheless, while drinking at home. No Shine, no Jake Paul, Logan. No big dramatic controversy, and no entertaining YouTube videos. The sales were made as a direct result of the BBCE authentication. None of them buy that case with authentication. Who would be stupid enough to spend millions on a case that was not authenticated? Okay, so the thing is, there's no pointing fingers. They're all to blame. Every single one of them, they're all to blame. They were all probably definitely in on it, and they wanted to make a quick buck off something that was fake, and they almost certainly knew it was fake. Unless everyone here feels Mealy Pops and Kahuna knew it was fake and fleeced or coerced BBCE, well, that's a different story. No, how about they didn't fleece or coerce? How about they were just in on it, and BBCE got a big payout and they agreed to do it? Like, why? They were like providing BBCE with information on how it was real, pretending that Jacob was his Pokemon expert. He's not. He's dumb. MRB 842 says Mealy made a clear mistake in jumping the gun on the deal. It wasn't just a case of someone going all in on Jamarcus Russell cards or doing an autograph signing with a guy who turns out to stink. It was somewhere worse, but not a direct attempt to deceive. The two people I thought looked the worst are Kahuna and, more importantly, BBCE. BBCE, this is their industry, and they were clearly beaten badly. You just cannot be beaten like that, and I would have a hard time buying anything from them. Kahuna, I'm not sure why he's not in jail. Most of you are at the show. You're coming to confront Jamil and go to his booth and sniff it out or talk to other dealers about his rep. I've met the guy and think it was just a bad mistake and you're just trolling to hurt someone. So that was a little bit hard to read, and I'd like to think it's not my reading comprehension, but it's not trolling to hurt somebody. It's when there's a bad person, you shouldn't just ignore the fact that they did something bad. He's had plenty of opportunities to make it right. He could have publicly made it right. He made a statement about how he paid it back. That's not making it right, in my opinion. And everything points to the fact that he knew all along, and he just got caught in something that Jacob probably convinced him that, oh, no one will know, because now look, it's authenticated. They were happy. They were hugging, touching moobs, if you will, in the parking lot, and they thought it was clear sailing from there, but it wasn't. It was a scam. F-Ball Hobbies. Steve Hart said himself he has never authenticated a sealed Pokemon case before. He said that he also would not authenticate a sealed box of first edition base. Couldn't name the set when he was talking to Radar, and all of a sudden now he wants to authenticate a full case of them. If that doesn't spell in it on the scam, taking some cash to just put wrap on it, I don't know what is. Mealy and Card Kahuna rushed to his shop on a Sunday evening to get it to BBCE for authenticating. Not to mention, the person they bought it from had him shipped to a local gaming store, which I thought was weird and an immediate red flag. Definitely a red flag. Why would they not just send it straight to BBCE, and then they're trying to rush to BBCE? They could have just gone straight to BBCE. So that kind of makes me think that they were a little bit concerned that customs would open it up, and then it would be open when it arrived at BBCE, and all would go to crap, and then they'd have to get a replacement case or something. After the wrap was applied to the case, after what seemed like only half an hour, it was something like that. Steve Hart, thanks to the Jamil videos where he's got clocks and the images, both in the car and in the store itself. Steve Hart researched and gained all the knowledge needed to authenticate the case. Would have loved to hear the convo between the three of them in his office. So that's the thing too. They're like, oh, it's a super secret process. We can't show the tape, how we licked it, how we sniffed it. It's all super secret, guys. We wanted to make it seem like it's longer than it is. It could have been in the entire video. If they're only in there for 30 minutes, it could have been like a live stream or something. And then all of a sudden, Steve Hart rolls into work with a new motorcycle the following week. Coincidence? Who the hell knows? CK and Mealy do, though. So that's the thing, too. Apparently, Steve, from what I hear, is claiming that there was no motorcycle. He's afraid of motorcycles, but I have multiple people who told me that he got a brand new motorcycle. Had a lovely lady call the motorcycle dealership, and it seems like a relative of Steve's had the bike under their name. And you'd say like, oh, well, that maybe it was just the family member's bike. Well, no, but because Steve has DUIs, etc., and it probably needed to be insured under the family member's name. Whether it was hiding it from people knowing, or the fact that the insurance would have been too high, if it was Steve's DUI mobile, who knows? Old Goldie 97. Selling this misauthenticated product wasn't the bad part. Not paying back immediately was the bad part. So yeah, there's the not paying it back, but also there was just a huge opportunity for him. If I showed him that it was fake in DMs on Instagram, instead of losing his shit at me and saying it's real, or even after he found out it was fake, to then cooperate and make a statement and then want to clear your name from if it was Jacob's fault, clear your name from Jacob. If you weren't in on it, but you were probably in on it. Badger Ben, how dare someone come on here and talk blasphemy about the great BBCE? People in the past would get smacked down on here if someone even remotely questioned BBCE. Conflict of interest for BBCE to submit and sell PSA graded cards and packs while they authenticate them? Nah, mind your own business and move along. So yeah, that's pretty bad too. We saw the example where someone bought packs from BBCE and they sent them to PSA to get authenticated, and then they were rejected by what turned out to be BBCE, which is pretty hilarious. So they can't even authenticate their own authenticated things, if that makes any sense. Kyle Drago, we've also seen with TCA where the packs came back, they were opened on the bottom. I really hope they're not doing Pokemon anymore, and I really hope that PSA finds somebody else to do the sports packs, because it's pretty pointless. I think it hurts their reputation to have Steve doing any part of anything. Call Drago. The bad part started when the guy Mealypops, who thinks he's a card expert, thought he could make people believe that he got duped. If you thought the case was legit during the original purchase, you are a moron. If you knew the case wasn't legit, you're a scammer. Mealypops has elected to be a moron because that's the lesser of two evils. Pretty much. To the first two apologists, red highlighted is all you need to know. This Mealy bro and his partner clearly knew it was fake, and clearly knew that BBC wasn't knowledgeable on Pokemon, hence they rushed the grading process through BBCE to capitalize. Alright, ATL, OTP. The three guys, including Op, never thought this thing was gonna get ripped. I'm sure the plan was to get BBCE to authenticate it and then sell it to a fractional investing company. Remember those? Yeah, sure do. Liquid Marketplace was probably gonna slap this bad boy in a vault and sell fractions of it that would go to next to nothing. Make a bunch of money off of it. Because why not? Then you can just buy it back, right? You buy it back at a fraction of what, and no one ever gets to open it. Or keep enough that no one can ever own it. And you can sell off fractional shares of your G.I. Joes, which would sell shares and guarantee the thing is never actually opened. Very true. The original seller sells a bogus case. The buyers get an authenticator to stick a wrap on it. They sell it to a company. The company consumers buy a bag and hold it forever. You can't sell it to Logan Paul because he might actually open the thing, which is why it got sold to Shine. Oopsie doopsie. Old Goldie 97 with the laughy face. Come see me. Steal your wallet when you turn around. KB81, the wholesome hobby we knew is gone far, far away. Now that it's mainstream and big dollars is in the sandbox, stuff like scams and shilling and insert crappy stuff here are everyday woes that we have to experience. Greed is what will do scammers in eventually. Unfortunately, some scammers never get caught, but them's the breaks. And that's the thing too. When the scammers get caught, get rid of the scammers. If you're going to take advantage of other people in what should be a very wholesome and fun hobby for everyone, you don't deserve to be in the hobby anymore. Go find something else. Go play with My Little Ponies or whatever you want to do. Mealy and Card Kahuni. You shouldn't. No one should be working with you. No one should be buying your stuff. No one should do business with you because it should reflect bad on them as well. If you're going to work with somebody that's taking advantage of others, you might be in the same boat. Pac-Man 80. So whatever happened, did Mealypops make good and give us part of the refund back? Is Big Kahuna still going dark and refusing to pay? Good question. Jeremy Nick, a guy who orchestrated $1 million scam in broad daylight, has big card kahunas. Very true. Chessball, yes and yes. Big kahunas are just stupid, maybe. F-ball hobbies. Kahuna was partying it up in Vegas. He was also seen on TV sitting courtside at a Celtics/Nets playoff game. He also sat on the glass at a Rangers. It was a Rangers playoff game. He is literally spending all of Shine's money, so he won't have anything to pay back, pretty much. And I think that's the difference here. Jamil would have to pay it back or has too much to lose. Jacob is just pretending to have money, so it doesn't really matter. And if he spends all the money that he acquired from the scam transactions, then maybe he doesn't have to pay it back. He just like, oopsie doopsie, I'm bankrupt. MRB 842. Mealy has done deals with Mariano Rivera, Steve Spurrier, a University of Florida athlete, and been allowed to set up at the National every other show since. I don't think all those folks would work with him if the industry found a lingering fault. Maybe the industry is fucked. Badger Ben, really? I could rattle off a dozen dealers set up at the National who could give him a run for his money. Yeah, there's a lot of scammers. There's some in Pokemon, and with the recent surge in Pokemon, we saw a lot more of that stuff. But it's okay. I'm here. You guys are here. We're gonna get rid of them. See you later. Pac-Man says if he's in Vegas, maybe Shine has connections. No, we're not gonna read that. Collector only. Not to mention breakers, auction houses, and the corporate booths. Jeremy Nick, Mealy Pops, didn't drop by to say hi and give his fam a day 2 recap. Oh, what a shame. Jamar, pay someone enough to sit down and talk or sign autos, and they'll work with anybody. As the $1 Million Man used to say, everybody's got a price. Panini kept sending a product to Backyard Breaks after their free card fiasco, and they ended up pulling the LeBron triple logo man. Can somebody send me the video of this? I don't know if anyone's actually covered it yet, but there was like the Backyard Breaks where they they were supposed to give away a card and they didn't because it was too expensive, and they just kind of took off with it. That's the summary that I got, but if anyone has the full details or information, please send that my way. I'd like to check it out in full. Check out my PC, says could not agree more. I think Jamil is a genuinely nice guy who made a mistake, whether it be general deception or carelessness. Pretty sure he immediately moved the money into escrow when he found out about the case, unlike Kahuna. If Shine or Logan Paul aren't still making a huge deal of it, not sure why dudes on Blowout are. I mean, they only can to a certain extent. Logan doesn't care because he got his money back from Shine. I can assure you that Shine cares. Whether or not he posts about it every single day, he doesn't have to, because if there's lawyers involved, then he's going to get the money back, or he's going to mess up our boy J-Boy Jacob. It's going to be through a legal means. Kassemel, because what else are 40-year-old men going to play White Knight / fake upset over if not this? I mean, if you want to run defense on a J-Boy, you by all means go to town. RCMB 3220. How many times has a dealer been arrested at the National, or is this just really good sarcasm that went over my head? If so, nicely done. Boo. Conspiracy theories about Megamix. Kassemel, I know you were trying, but was never mad about it and actually think it makes sense for a blowout. As I mentioned, solid attempt though. Bob Ross, good gracious, so in your definition of being genuinely a nice guy, general deception falls into that category. Him paying back the money quickly means absolutely nothing because he was simply covering his ass because he knew the jig was up. That's probably entirely it, and if you're going to have to pay the money back anyway, or you're going to waste more money on lawyers and everything else when it's inevitable that you're going to have to pay the money back. CCTV footage of him making his way to the thread to post up. Boo. Pretty sure no one is mad that he is there. They're just busting on him, which is much deserved. Completely agree. Many will never do business with him because of this. Possibly like many won't buy Megamix again because of unprovable conspiracies. Well, not necessarily unprovable. I think it's pretty proof. The proof might be in the pudding when he doesn't want to make a statement on it. And it didn't help resolve the situation other than like paying the money back due to the fear of losing the money anyway. Earl Snake 07. Anyone had any face-to-face conversations with this dude yet? He clearly welcomed it and assumed with all the blowout / YouTube peeps there would be several videos floating around. The National has a long history of tolerating, how should I say it, people with unsavory business habits. I think that's just it. That's the same thing with the grading companies. Everyone gives them a pass because it's just like, yeah, well, all the other grading companies are bad, so they can do bad things too. It's all right. It's not as bad as other things that happen. No, it's all bad. If there's corruption, if there's bad stuff going on, it should be called out regardless of how bad or not bad you think it is. You gotta be kidding. Plenty of liars / thieves / trimmers are set up right now at the National, hobnobbing with sports stars. Chessball. So the guys holding water for Mealy, were you promised Harleys, cards, or cash? Giroux says, is there any evidence he knew it was a scam? Quite a bit. Jeremy Nick, C calls post. He either saw an opportunity to make a quick buck despite many red flags, in doing so quickly passing the risk on to someone else, or he doesn't know much about cards and he's dumb. One is admitting fault and the other is claiming ignorance. He chose ignorance. Either way, he still was ignorantly a major part of a multi-million-dollar scam. Not a good look for a card bro that loves the hobby. I'd be more than willing to accept number 2 if he would just own his part. He's just passing the buck off like he tried to do with the hot potato initially. That's pretty much it. Checkmate, you got me. I guess I should be a cool guy like you who doesn't care if people get scammed for $2 million. MRB. Pretty sure most of the major domos in the hobby remember past awfulness and are deeply aware of the damage a situation like that could do to their businesses. In the social media age where everything is permanent, they could easily cut his something publicly and move on, and haven't. He's at the National, and it looks like most other shows. I guess you're welcome to see him. Hopefully a lot of other younger, newer people and shops took note of that, and it led to some other awfulness getting crushed before it happened and people got burned. That's the thing too. If you're gonna work on a scam of that magnitude, like how many little scams, how many little rip-off deals have you done? How many dirty deals have you done that didn't get noticed, that didn't get coverage, or didn't just go past? MRB 842. Pretty sure most of the major. Oh wait, we read this one already. Pretty sure most of the major domos in the hobby remember past awfulness and are deeply aware of the damage a situation like that could do to their business. Yeah, we did read that. Asian 62150 reminds me of the I take care of my kids, I ain't never been to jail bit. What you want, a cookie? 6 Celtics 33. He's selling fake star basketball cards apparently as well. People stopped to tell them and it did no good. They said per the Star Facebook group. That's pretty interesting. Okay. We got fake cards now, whether he realizes it or not. Sorry, the pic. Yeah, this pic is extremely small. Check out my PC. No, I think genuinely nice people are capable of making mistakes and learning/growing from them. Seems to be a lot of virtue signalers in this thread, especially coming from old dudes who take advantage of people at shows and sell for 2 to 3x comps. But melee is the devil because it involves an amount of money that 99% of you can't touch. So is that like the free pass because it's so expensive that you can't afford it? You're not allowed to criticize the person on it? When you no longer dispute the facts, assumptions start flying. Not disputing any facts. I just don't let one mistake determine my perception of individuals because I can actually apply critical thinking. You tell me, you know what? You keep buying from people that have scammed people in the past and let us know how it works out for you. Pretty obvious you didn't have a real counterpoint considering you only addressed the last sentence of the post. Keep it moving, pal. Clearly we aren't going to agree. No reason to be a prick about it. Man, the excuses made for scammers is they're real. JM. It's the booth behind them. Their banner is double-sided, which most likely caused the confusion. All of the stuff at Melee Pop's booth is either graded or ultra modern. Okay, it's not his. It's just the person next to him. Don't worry about it. 6 Celtics 33. In that case, I retract and apologize. Thanks. Dr. Z-Man. What do you think of them currently selling fake star cards as seen in the post above? So apparently that was a misunderstanding. We'll take that. Asian 62150. What Jamil did was wrong on various levels. It would have been nice to hear a public apology from him since he decided to make this whole ordeal public in the first place. I agree. He did make YouTube videos. He wanted the fortune and fame of selling the fake case. So you know what? Keep it going. Make another follow-up and I'll gladly take a look at it. But if he doesn't want to issue one, no sense enforcing it. I don't know. I think you kind of deserve to be ragged on if you don't want to address it, but I can see how people might disagree with that. I don't think you should be allowed on the forum in general if you get caught scamming and you don't have an explanation for it. Does it seem weird/grimy that he created this thread as a means to promote himself without directly addressing the elephant in the room? Yep. Giving a refund right away doesn't make you a good guy. This just means you didn't want to get sued. Entirely it. Bad people give money back all the time on deals gone wrong for one reason or another, especially if they get caught. We've seen this. We've seen this with the Pokemon scammers. We've seen it with Arjun. Arjun refunds everyone because he doesn't want the negative feedback. Jamil seems like a nice guy with a good personality. In my limited interactions with him at various shows, he is easy to talk to and approachable. He's a salesman. None of that makes him a white knight, and none of that makes him the world's worst criminal. If I were walking by his booth and saw he had something readily available, i.e. high pop count for a good price, I'd probably pick it up. If he had something that was really rare and expensive, and I had even the slightest inkling it wasn't legit in some way, I'm passing because of this ordeal. It wouldn't surprise me if he has a lot of that, like the high-end sports guys, they love to like pass off these like trimmed cards that pass through grading, stuff like that. So this is kind of another example of that. Maybe it just got blown out of proportion compared to the other stuff, which is pretty much just spat. If you know something's trimmed, and even if it's graded, you're not like, oh yeah, well it's BGS's fault or it's PSA's fault. No, if you know it's trimmed, it's trimmed. Asian 62150. What Jamil did was wrong on various levels. It would have been nice to hear a public apology from him since he decided to make this whole ordeal public in the first place. Do we already... Well, we get double posts. That's what's going on. KB81. Mission accomplished. Create a thread and get people talking about you. Good or bad, he is getting the attention he wants to stay relevant. Yeah. Or, I mean, even within this thread, we saw a couple times where he, people didn't know what happened, and now they do. So, is it helping? Probably not. 3 pages left. Let's ream through these. Hope he sees this, bro. I meant that he was deceived into thinking it was authentic and didn't do his due diligence because he saw a potential payday. If he knew they were fake from the beginning, I would say he's a total scumbag. I'd just like to think he wouldn't be that foolish. Seems we disagree though. So like, why would you assume if he's not going to tell you the story, if he tried to distance himself and went radio silent on all of the important details instead of clearing his name and helping, that he wasn't in it from the beginning? I don't know how you immediately presume the fact that he did nothing wrong here. I would lean towards the other just based on all of the things that I've seen. Boo, please let us know how you know he didn't know it was fake at the beginning. Exactly. Check out my PC. I missed the part where I said I knew that. You seem to have a tough time with basic reading comprehension. Khal Drago, if I remember correctly, Rattle figured that Mealy Pops and Card Turdhuna bought the case for a little over 100,000. Probably more than 1% of us here have that liquidity at our fingertips. As I said earlier, and the people who still want to leave doubt that they were fooled might be the biggest morons of them all in this story. That is very true. That, or they're just not paying attention. They want to toss in some commentary or just play devil's advocate without knowing. If you watched all of the content on it that I provided, if you watched even all of the content that was provided by Jamil and Jacob, there's no way you shouldn't believe that they weren't in on it from the beginning. It just doesn't make any sense. Like the likelihood of them not being in on it from the beginning, it's got to be almost nothing. But people are going to assume that. All right, hail to the victors. This is not mission accomplished. An abundance of people, 1, now know about the story, and more important, 2, know much more detail. If you think this thread is a positive for Mealy Pops, you should probably take your head out of the sand. I would kind of agree there. KB81 most definitely is a mission accomplished from the point of view of getting attention. Some people are very odd. Some folks get a kick out of being at the center of attention, good or bad. It's a psychological thing. Look at us all in here talking about the guy and what he did. Sucks for him that it is mostly all bad, but he is well aware that we have him on our minds enough to come in here and chat up a storm about it. I'm not saying that was his intention originally, but heck, it's not a far off assumption given all that we know. Check out my PC. No reason to be condescending on something that's a matter of opinion. Not sure why you're constantly so abrasive, especially coming from the guy named after a GOT character. Might as well announce to everyone you're still a virgin too. Khal Drago, not condescending. Good jokes though. Never heard those here before. You've hurt my feelings, and now I won't come back. Love all the people who think a first edition base case would sell for around 100,000 when boxes were selling for over 350k at the time. I sucker born every minute, I guess. No, they knew it was fake. Ian Hatcher, there's a reason why Jacob didn't want to tell me what he paid for the box. It's because it was so astronomically low that it wasn't possible. Whether or not, I don't think there was even a payment made initially. And it looked, as we dissected in previous videos, like they were splitting it 3 ways. The J-Boys, the J-Way 3-0. Ian Hatcher, I actually saw some nice stuff at the show that looked promising. Looked up and saw Mealy-Pop's sign and kept walking. Even if they were legit duped by the original seller, but the way Mealy and Card Kahuna attacked Rattle and DMs was enough for me to not want to do business with them either. With either of them. BCE, on the other hand, is just greedy, incompetent, and fraudulent, and it's amazing they haven't lost any sort of credibility at all, but it's clear that people will defend when they have a vested interest in items they have authenticated. A lot of sports guys don't care that they defrauded the Pokemon community at all, which is pretty sad. So it's happened in the sports community as well, as we saw earlier in this video. It's just people want to look the other way. If somebody can make extra money on it, it's the same thing with the grading companies. They don't care how incompetent, they don't care how minimum wage the person is putting their card in a slab. If it has a number on it, if it's going to make them more money, they're going to let on that it's the super authentic plus best way to do things. That's just what it is. That's how it will always be. It just gets ingrained into people's head that for some reason the guy that was probably the previous week working at McDonald's is now putting your cards in sleeves, wiping mayo all over them and everything else. They're the be all end all of what you should look for in a card. Majestic 101. So with the national coming to a close, how many friends did Smelly Poops make? I'm guessing the over-under is 4.5. Well, he's best buds with Check Out My PC, so there you go. Thumbs up. I think maybe this is just a better thread to expose the people that are going to protect the shady people. Maybe that's what the best scenario is for this thread. Anyone that's defending Mealy Pops here, probably also not a good person. Jamara, well, I guess till next year, BO friends and family. Smelly Poops. Badger Ben, did BBCE have their new Harley out on display like a museum piece? See the motorcycle that G.I. Joe packs bought? It'd be cool if it had like a camouflage saddlebags or something. That'd be pretty neat, pretty themed. Blazed, because it gets reactions. A few people on here need the blow up forums because they're so obsessed with the attention they get. Giroux, are these the actual prices? Yes. I knew it was some shady eBay deal from Canada, but if that much of a discount, then it's hard to believe 2 card experts really got duped like that. So that's what the listing was. They took it off of eBay. They didn't purchase it through eBay. It's never been fully confirmed because Jacob would never say the number, but we got some numbers from Justin, the original seller, and probably definitely the creator of the fake case. And the numbers lined up exactly to be the 3-way split between Jacob, Jamil, and Justin. So I'm going to say that is the most likely scenario, but it was still a fraction of what it was supposed to be. They were supposed to split the money. And then it seemed like Jacob maybe changed the rules, changed what was going on there. When you took into consideration the fees, it lined up pretty much perfectly. So I would say the 3 J-Boys, they touched penis tips, and they decided they were going to be in on it together. That's pretty much almost definitely what happened. Dizzy. Yeah, but he's always been really nice when he's taking your money at his booth at the National, so he's innocent. Very true. All right, Drogo, what do you got for us? Card Kahuna tried to claim he paid 7 figures for it because if he revealed the real price, nobody would have believed it was real. The initial eBay auction went for less than 75k. It didn't sell on eBay. A moderately higher price was agreed to by the buyer, but the deal fell apart when the seller would not allow local pickup, payment by cashier's check, or opening of the case to confirm legitimate. So where he wouldn't let people pick it up locally, that was PSA Pikachu that had, by the way, check out PSAPikachu.com. Use code RATTLE10 for 10% off. Awesome dude, trustworthy dude. He was going to buy the case and wanted to pick it up in person, but Justin would not allow for that because PSA Pikachu had the intention of opening it and then giving him the money on the spot. That couldn't happen because the case was fake and Justin faked it. It is assumed Mealypops and Kahuna paid around 100k. Edit actually found the old thread that they paid 850k for it. Price was supposed to be 1.3 to 1.8, contingent upon staying sealed versus opening and being legit, but that's what was exchanged. So this is, I would trust the Justin numbers more than these. Yeah, I don't know. So well under market, regardless of how you cut it. Just remember, Mealypop's first response was to call Rattle a liar and block him. Great guy. Yeah, that was it. Remember when he didn't have, when the videos weren't getting that much traction, when the case wasn't going to be open, I was a liar, not Jamil, right? Jamil was totally an honest guy. He totally had everyone's best intentions. All right, we got a Mealypops post. A great national, great people, tons of traffic. Loved the interactions and catching up with the folks. I networked a ton and can't wait to see BO family again next year in Chicago. Apologies. I'm not sure where that accent was going. Apologies for not posting every day. It was crazy and I was prioritizing my team /meetings/deals/meetups. Lost my voice as well, which seems to happen every year. To all of you who we interacted with, thank you for coming by. It's always humbling meeting up with so many of you who have followed us and encouraged us in the hobby. In regards to all the noise in this thread, here are some quick notes/facts that many of you should consider. I was 100% ready to discourse with people who simply wanted to hate, pass, negativity, leave comments, had questions. I was happy to provide a simple smile and share the truth. Something that nobody seems to want. I even asked people to stop by the booth in this thread. I would have welcomed whatever you wanted to talk about, even if negative. Yet none of you came by and said anything. Literally crickets. I think that speaks for itself. Keep believing all the conjecture, mistruths, and lies all you want. From day one of learning the contents of the case were not authentic, we have been working with Sean's legal team and paid every dollar back within that week via escrow and did everything the right way. Many of you seem to forget all of that and take the deep dive in the pit of opinions and clickbait. Everything about the statement below linked is fact and truth. I believe what you want, but here is my statement and Sean's from January. That's just that you paid money back. You were working with their legal team because you had to pay the money back. You had every opportunity to tell the full story of what happened. Almost everything mentioned about me and my brand in this thread is false. I don't know where these stories come from, but they are wild. I'm a grown man who understands we live in a time where slander/fake news is what people want. It's sad, but it's real. That's reality of it all. You don't want truth. I made the biggest mistake of my life trusting someone I barely knew last spring on what I believed was a holy grail find. I learned an extremely tough lesson. I'm now out $250,000. That's a fact. I trusted the primary authenticator for PSA, Pokemon packs, BBCE, and their expertise to do diligence on a case. That's a fact. In which I spent money that I have not received back. Another fact. I could keep it rolling, but people seem to not want the facts. I'm not going to converse in this thread any longer. Feel free to DM if you would like. I think the national forum should be about the national and the amazing hobby community, not drama and lies. In saying that, here is just a few quick photos of folks and interactions from the week. They don't know what I did. Thankful. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. Thankful you all. For those of you who spoke up in this thread or in general, it means more than you will ever know. Thank you. Prayer hands. Sorry for anyone who happened to have to be in a picture with Jamili Pops. It's a real shame that you have to tarnish your image like that. Whether you realize it or not, whether you're just doing it for the money, whether you're one of the people at a booth, whether if you're Wada Games and you're kind of forced to take pictures with people. Absolutely unreal. D. Deering, Great to see you at the show again, Mealy. I don't know why I keep having to drive 15 hours to see you when you live an hour away. Hope you had a great show. My question is, was 502 Frank able to stop by this year and not get dissed by him? Now that was big news. Don't know what that means. Mealy Pops, we got to work on that. Dan's show was great. I am not expecting that level of traffic in AC. You crushed it over there. If people in this thread don't know, Dan is amazing deal, boxes, wax, boss tons, and is true OG. Please check him out next year in Chicago. Nice shout out. This is like absolutely ridiculous. Carl 2001. Since there's a lot of bad blood in this thread, did anyone went to Mealy Pops' booth and tear him a new one because of that fake Pokemon case? There's no way he would talk to you about the Pokemon case. He's dodged it on stream. I have people that message me all the time and they're just like, yeah, somebody asked about the fake Pokemon case and he didn't want to say anything and banned them or whatever. Or ignored whatever they were saying. That he doesn't want to talk about it. He's full of crap. Now that it's over and no one went to talk to him about it, he's going to claim at this point that no one wanted to talk, so they had to do it in real life. That was your only chance. I found it hard to believe that no one came up to him and let him have it in person. Wouldn't say best buds. I'm just able to apply critical reasoning to my thoughts, unlike most of the boomers in here. Older card guys understandably let emotion trump reason. It's why so many of them were butthurt and crying about the National, while all the guys I know in their 20s made 10K plus. I'd be upset to see younger people more successful than myself as well, especially the guys who use the time to get away from crappy marriages or jobs back home. Man, you are one salty dude. GrizzKid 12. Well said. I've definitely seen way too much boomer national hate. Show was awesome. Like I said in another thread, if you didn't enjoy it, you may either want to take a break from the hobby or look at yourself in the mirror because you're elected the reason it wasn't a good time. So how did this turn into now they're defending the National, I guess, instead of defending like Mealy Pops? We're going to switch, we're going to shift the goalpost here. Has the money millennials make from cards become so bad that we're bragging about making 10K now? Yikes. My personal opinion is if you had started this thread with the below, the response might have been a little bit more positive receptive. Instead of, hey fam, I haven't posted on here since the G.I. Joe debacle, but come spend money at my booth. Just think the whole delivery was off, but it was what it is. That's it. He was posting an ad and I guess he didn't expect the fact that people were going to rag on him for it. 4. I made the biggest mistake of my life, trusting someone I barely knew last spring on what I believed was the Holy Grail. There's no way you believed that. I learned an extremely tough lesson. Yeah, have been a collector since 1969 and owned a card shop for 10 years. I personally would never spend that kind of money without verifying myself the contents of that case. Trust no one. Glad you learned a valuable lesson. Don't ever let this too good to be true, followed by the greed of money lead the way. You knew it was fake. Come on. You must have, right? Fucking goddamn it, people are gullible. MC1, Kyle is probably around your age, guy. I'm not much older, thankfully not married. Thumbs up. Blackbear86, lots of projecting and assumptions being made here, and I didn't see anyone in this thread throwing shade at anyone for making money, and I love the National. The facts are this, and Cal made the point perfectly. Mealy made an egregious error, either through blind ignorance or deception. Option 2, probably. An apology would have gone a long way towards making things right. Instead, he chose to ignore the elephant in the room. Not a good look. Yeah, he's had plenty of opportunities. Instead, he's going to advertise and expect not to get dragged for it. Blazed, 126, and on the flip side of that, the Richard riding going on at the National was unbelievable. I have never seen so many people, young and old, try so hard to interact and fit in with the big players in the card world. I also see a lot of people complaining about pricing, but several big players in the card world had their prices way above eBay, and not one person complained, videoed an interaction of then harassing them over the high prices and called them out like they've done other vendors. So there's that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you kind of have to expect the prices to be a little bit higher. Card shows, even game stores, you're probably not going in there and getting the best price possible. Let's go Capitals. 0 shock here. You would think that people would be dumping some sports cards with the market retracing on a lot of this stuff. EB Collectibles. In other words, there are a lot of barking in this thread, but no biting. They invited them to stop by and none of them did. Wonder why? Thumbs up. Who here was at the National? I would have gladly chatted with them, but I had no desire to go to AC, and my vacation has been all pretty well booked up for the year. He was the one who came here and started the thread, and shock, people wanted to engage him here, where he voluntarily came, and he just was not willing. Again, another shock, and he posted a dead link. Triple shock. I don't like guys. Sorry. Okay. DM him then, or just don't come here. Oh, I mean, I tried to DM him at one point, and he told me that I was a liar and that I was wrong. And he had a little hissy fit because the scam was falling apart. Jeremy Nick, or just don't come here. If he doesn't want to engage, don't start a thread and refuse to talk to people who aren't spreading that fam love. Cal says, I'll be sure to say hi to Mealy Pops in Chicago next year. This poor boomer didn't make enough money in cards to afford a trip to AC. Kobe 101, this is very true. I was there Friday, and the people with the most outrageous prices were the ones everyone sucks up to. I had a lot of fun though. Fun going through value boxes. Didn't pick up anything great, but still had fun. Yeah, I think it would be more like interacting with people. That would be the fun part, necessarily. Like, if you're there with the sole intention of finding some steal of a deal, you're probably not going to get it, because the majority of people that are there should be experts and know what everything is worth. Blackbears86, I couldn't get the time off for AC, but I already penciled in Chicago next year. EB, we completely understand. Grizz, median annual income in the US is just over 44K. Clearing 10K in 5 days at a sports card show would be something someone should be happy about. We can't all be miserable doctors. So yeah, but I mean, after taxes, provided you're actually paying them, 10K probably not all that great. And if you're talking 10K profit or 10K in sales, is clearing 10K in profit. Don't tell the government. Dizzy Dulce, I walked by his booth and didn't see him. If I did, I wouldn't have said anything. I don't want to spend my time there discussing this stupid shoot. I went there to have a good time. He would lie right to my face anyway. If I did say something, it wouldn't have been confrontational in the least. I would just want his side of the story, but I honestly don't care that much. This is what a card forum is for, in my opinion. Why is it so hard to discuss the matter here? That's one of the many reasons I decided to spend time here. You guys insinuating people who didn't confront him about this at the National are scared to do so or something. Horrible take, honestly. If I was there, I'm not going to go to sports card conventions. I would gladly talk to him. But if he's going to block me on Instagram DMs because he's upset that his case is fake and that I'm exposing it, there's a good chance he's not going to talk to me in person either. If you'd like to, though, Jamil, if you ever feel like it, we can definitely have a discussion on Discord. If you'd like, you can tell me the whole story, start to finish. We can get to the bottom of how you weren't involved. It wasn't your fault. Also, I don't even care that much to DM him either. It should be public discourse. If he is honest and innocent in this situation, it's incredibly easy to discuss and prove. I think so as well. You would have all the receipts. You would have all the information. You could show every single detail. I'm sure you got all kinds of messages from Jacob as the shit was falling apart. Surely you can show some of that to prove your innocence and not the fact that you were conversing with each other and like, oh shit, they know it's fake. Drago says, maybe put down the weights and work on your reading comprehension. Well, was it him that said that earlier? I feel like that's just the same insult over and over again. Duran, you're being too sensible. Amazed more people don't see it like this. Mealy's bullet point number 1 is a calming tactic used not only after outright scams, but even careless actions. I followed this story closely, and the latter is more likely, but it doesn't change the attempt at deflecting, implying he's in the right because crickets. Good one. The funniest part is that many of these types sincerely believe that the lack of in-person confrontation speaks for itself. The only meaningful crickets are the ones heard right now. Busy Card Show is really conductive to productive conversation surrounding the highest profile cards game in recent memory. The guy is a scam artist, plain and simple. Have you ever been wrong about anything at all, ever, in your mind? Hail to the victors. Probably the most embarrassing and immature post I've read on Blowout this year. Congrats. Drago, Brandon, and I are never wrong, even when we are arguing with each other. Grizz, put down the laptop/phone and work on not being the most miserable human being in this entire forum. Good one, Grizz. You haven't used that before. We got some bickers. I thought this was pretty funny. So I guess the part where the lawyer saying don't say anything doesn't apply anymore later on in the thread here. Again, like expecting someone to where you say you lost your voice because you probably had to scream over everyone in a busy area. Again, just if you'd like to make a statement, if you'd like to show your receipts, show that Jacob duped you, by all means we can do so, and I will personally apologize if you had nothing to do with it. But until then, I completely agree with everything that I've seen. I have to assume that you were in on it from the beginning. The three-way J-Boy split is probably what happened. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. This was a long one, but hopefully it was a little bit entertaining. See ya. Join the Discord. Bye.